Hi guys! Welcome back to another car vlog. I have my glasses on currently because I do not look good. So, there's the explanation for that. I'm on my way to pick up my sister, like usual, and I thought I would just talk while I do this. Be a little less bored. And today I'm going to be talking about why I took a gap year and... Can you see that cord? Yeah, you can definitely see that cord. Nope. Okay, I'll just turn the camera on. Okay, awesome. Sorry, that's my mic. Okay. Ooh. There we go. So, I will be talking about why I chose to take a gap year between high school and college, and why it's okay for you to take one as well. Alright, here we go. Okay, as I went back to watch the video, I'm wearing different glasses. That's embarrassing. Anyway, as I went back to watch the video, I realized how much lint and dog hair there was on me. I am so sorry. I have a lint roller right here for those kind of emergencies, but... So, sorry about that. Back to the video. So, I took a gap year between high school and college, 1 year, and my reasoning behind that first off was because I was so sick. I was getting worse. I barely went to school my senior year because I was just so ill. I had a condition, I had a hernia, but it caused everything I ate to involuntarily come back up over and over until I just had to throw it up because it wasn't going to go down. And I had this forever, and I always thought it was a normal thing, but it turned out it wasn't. And I had it for so long, but the problem was because I was not getting this food into my body was basically not getting any nutrition. It was starting to just die on me. And by senior year, it was just to the point where I was sick all the time, and I couldn't figure out why. And so we finally figured out what was happening. I'll go more into detail into that in another video, but we figured out what was happening, and they were like, hey, you're gonna need surgery. That was kind of like the final prognosis. And I was like, okay, I can go to school, get the surgery, and try to do both, and possibly not succeed at either getting better or getting an education, or I can just take a break, put it on hold, and then work on getting better. And that's what I chose to do. And in the end, that was the best decision I could have made because now I'm healthy, and now I'm back at school. I'm still going to school. So I managed to accomplish both, just not at the same time. Like, people who say you can't have it all. Well, you can, you just can't have it at the same time always. And so that was one reason I chose to take a gap year. Another reason was I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I should look at the road. That's fine. I know these roads so well. I'm kind of like, they're in my bones, basically. But anyway, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of had an idea, but I wasn't sure if that was the right idea. I wasn't sure what my interests were, and I didn't really feel like going to college and wasting time trying to decide. And yes, you can go if you don't know exactly what you want to do and take your gen ed classes, but I just didn't want to waste time. I wanted to know, because you do change a lot between what you find interesting in high school to what you find interesting even like the day after you graduate. Things change so fast around that age. And if I would have gone to school right after high school, like the year after, not taking a gap year, I would be currently struggling through trying to become a creative writing major, which is not what I want to do at all. And I realized, no, that's not for me. And now I am currently pursuing my anthropology degree so that I can eventually work in artifact preservation and work as a curator in a museum, which I really want to do. And that's something I'm passionate about, something that interests me. And just at that moment in time in high school, I thought, oh, creative writing, I like that. That's fun. But now I know that is not a career I'd ever want to have. I just wouldn't. My heart wouldn't be in it, and it would have been a waste of money to figure that out a couple years later. And so that's also why I took a gap year. Another reason was I wasn't in a financial place to go to school. It wasn't the time. I didn't have the money for it. And also, because I was gone so much from like my senior year, I didn't have the grades for... I'm sure I could have gotten in somewhere, but I was afraid I wouldn't have the grades for a university because my senior year was so bad. But I went to a community college and did my gen ed classes, got all A's, just killed it that year. And the thing is, I had very good grades up until senior year. But anyway, so I killed it my year doing my gen ed classes, and that helped my applications for bigger schools, for state schools. I got into University of San Francisco. Didn't end up going, but that wouldn't have happened if I would have applied right after high school, because that was not a good representation. But I think when colleges saw, oh, that was just a bad year, that wasn't a representation of who she is as a student. And I explained that in my essays too. My battery's low. But, yeah, so basically, going forward, what was I even saying? Oh, okay, grades. So, because I was able to show colleges that I can do better, they are more likely to accept me. And that was also a good thing that I took a gap year, because if I would have gone to school right after, I probably would have still been, I would have been sick, I wouldn't have done good, I would have been pretty burnt, and you're kind of burnt out after high school. You do deserve a break. Oh my god, this is so bumpy. You deserve a break from school. I mean, you just got done doing 12 years of education. Why not give yourself some time to be yourself and spend a little time with you, get to know you? And that's what I did. And honestly, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And whenever I told my mother I wanted to do a gap year, she was super understanding. She's like, okay, yeah, sounds good. When she told her friends, though, they were like, are you sure? Like, people don't really go back to school, like, when they're done when they do a gap year. Gap year is basically just saying, no, I'm not going to college. Wasn't true for me, though. I went back. And maybe that's true for you. Maybe you're not going to go back. That's fine, but it's not guaranteed that once you take a gap year, you're done with school. That's just not how it is. And so I think you have to just remember that when you're going to school, is that you can go back. My sister's coming. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to filming. Okay. So basically, just because there's going to be so many people who say, no, you're not going to go back to school, doesn't mean you're not actually going to. It's literally, it's your choice, but also it's kind of, if you go into it knowing and making a plan of what you're going to do when your gap year's over, then you will go back. You just have to plan it out. You can't get, in that mindset of, oh, no school, basically. You have to be prepared. You have to still make plans for applications. You have to still attempt. And also, I wouldn't say just take a gap year just because there's no school, basically. I'd say use the time to do things that interest you, things that will better you, things that will round you out more as a person, because that's really what that time is for. It's not just to slack off and do nothing. It's a time to find yourself and spend a little more time with, like, get to know yourself and know what you like and what you enjoy. And I mean, also, but if you don't go back, you don't go back. If you find out in that gap year school isn't for you, okay then, school isn't for you. But I would say overall that gap years are not important, but they serve their purpose. They serve the purpose for me. I spent the time getting well, and I don't think I'd be going to school right now if I didn't. Honestly, I think I would have been dead by now because I was just so sick. I went to the hospital one day with a temperature of 94 degrees because my body was just shutting down. I was throwing up green bile. My body was just over being sick. And so I think that if I wouldn't have taken that year off, and not only just this to the point where I had surgery, the recovery too was so much work. They took my stomach and they tied it around my esophagus. And so I was on a liquid diet for 3 weeks and couldn't eat basically anything for another 2 months. And I could not go to school and deal with that recovery. That just wouldn't have been possible. because it was just so hard, the recovery. But like I said, for me, the gap year was the only option I had. There just was no other way. And even if it's not your only option, it's still, if you think it's going to benefit you the most, then why not? And it doesn't even have to be a full gap year. You could take a gap semester, really. You can just apply for colleges and select the winter semester, the spring semester instead of the fall. That is an option if you don't think that, if you think a whole year might be too much for you. There are other ways, like there's other options. Also, some schools have B and C sessions, like A, B, and C, and so you can just take a couple weeks off before you go to school. There's just so many options. But overall, I would say that if you're going to take a gap year, do it for you and don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Because there will be people who say, oh, you're taking a gap year? Be like, well, yeah, I'm not wasting my money and my time. I'm finding out what I want to do. Because I have so many friends who like switched their majors 3 times now. And that's because they just went right to it, just hit the grind right away, and now they're like, oh, I hate this sucks. And also, you might not want to go to the college you think you want to go to, because I had so many friends who went to the state college in Missouri, and they ended up, I knew 5 people that ended up dropping out within the first semester because they basically went to college with everybody from high school, and they hated it because it's just a bigger high school. So there's another reason. You don't know exactly what school you want to go to. In high school, you're kind of thinking about it in terms of what will... Sometimes you're like, oh, I want to go to school with my high school friends. I want to, like, know people, like, there. But sometimes it's not the best thing to do. I'm just trying to find a closing for this. Overall, I would say gap years serve their purpose. They can be good for you. They can be the right choice. And it all just depends on you. And I would just say, if you're not sure, take it up with your counselor, because they don't always suggest that to you as a student. They're not going to be like, oh, you can, like, they're are there to get you to college, but sometimes you have to be like, hey, I want to talk about what it would be like to take a gap year, and then they'll tell you, because they have to, but you have to prompt them first. I'm going to the bank. Went the different direction. My sister's looking at me. I should have gone the other way though, but oh well. Anyway, but yeah, so just know that gap years serve their purpose, and everybody has a different path to college and life. It just depends on the person. So, well, thank you for listening to my Taylor talk. It's always fun spouting some information. I hope you come back again. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell button so you can be informed of whenever I post a new video. Thank you so much. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.